The early morning mist hung thick over the sprawling forest that bordered the quiet suburban town. Trees stood tall and silent, their leaves dripping with dew, while a soft blanket of fog wove through the underbrush, muting sounds and cloaking the world in gentle gray. It was a tranquil moment, the kind that whispered promises of a new day. Amid the quiet, two silhouettes moved cautiously along a winding dirt path. Max and Luna, two German shepherds with gleaming coats and sharp, intelligent eyes, trotted side by side, loyal companions to their human family. They were well trained and alert, their senses finely attuned to the subtle changes in their environment. Max, the elder of the two, led the way with confident strides. His deep brown eyes scanned the misty forest, ever watchful for signs of danger or distress. Luna, younger and equally vigilant, mirrored his movements, her ears twitching at every faint sound. Their morning walk was a routine they cherished, a chance to explore the woods beyond the neighborhood, where nature thrived undisturbed. But on this particular day, the forest held a secret, something unexpected that would change their lives forever. As they ventured deeper, a soft, pitiful sound reached their ears, a faint whimper carried on the damp air. Max paused, his head tilting as he focused on the noise. Luna's tail stiffened, and she glanced toward the bushes off the path. Without hesitation, the two dogs veered toward the source, noses close to the ground. The scent was unlike anything they had encountered before, a mixture of wild animal musk and something fragile, unfamiliar. Pushing through the thick underbrush, they stumbled upon a small figure curled beneath a cluster of ferns. It was a lion cub, its tawny fur damp with dew, eyes wide with fear and exhaustion. The cub's ribs showed faintly through its coat, and its breathing was shallow, as if it had been alone for far too long. Max and Luna exchanged a glance, their instincts telling them this creature was in trouble. Despite the differences between them and the lion cub, a protective instinct stirred within their hearts. Max stepped forward cautiously, lowering himself to the ground to appear less threatening. Luna circled gently, her voice soft as she let out a comforting bark. The cub lifted its head slowly, eyes flickering with hesitation but also a glimmer of trust. "Come with us," Max seemed to say, his gaze steady and reassuring. Simba, the cub's name, though unknown to the dogs, wavered, but then allowed Luna to nudge him softly with her nose. With a tentative step, the little lion rose, still fragile but willing to follow. The journey back to their home was slow and careful. Max and Luna flanked Simba, keeping watchful eyes on the surroundings, ears alert to any threats. The forest, while beautiful, was filled with dangers for a lone, vulnerable cub. As they approached the edge of the woods, the morning sun began to pierce through the fog, casting warm golden beams that danced on the leaves and glistened on the wet earth. The scent of fresh grass and the distant sounds of the waking neighborhood welcomed them back. At the house near the forest's edge, Max and Luna led Simba inside, where the warmth and safety of home awaited. Their human family, surprised but moved by the sight of the small lion cub, quickly sprang into action, providing food, water, and care. Simba, though wary, sensed the kindness and protection offered by his new guardians. Max and Luna remained close, their presence a steady shield of comfort. That day marked the beginning of a unique and extraordinary friendship, a bond forged not by species, but by compassion and trust. In a world where differences often divided, Max, Luna, and Simba found unity in their shared journey, proving that family and loyalty transcend all boundaries. The sun poured generously over the sprawling garden that bordered the family home, a vibrant haven filled with lush grass, flowering shrubs, and tall trees that swayed gently in the breeze. It was a place made for freedom and play, a world away from the dense, shadowy forest where Simba had first been found. Now, under the watchful eyes of Max and Luna, this garden became Simba's new world, a safe space where healing and trust could grow. At first, Simba remained cautious, retreating often to the shade of a large oak tree or curling up in a quiet corner. His bright amber eyes flickered nervously as he observed the world around him. Still haunted by memories of abandonment and uncertainty, the warmth of the sun and the gentle rustling of leaves offered little comfort to the young lion who was still learning what safety truly meant. Max and Luna, however, were patient guardians. Their instincts told them that Simba's fear was natural, and that building trust would take time. Gentle care, and unwavering presence. They moved with deliberate calm, their bodies relaxed but ready to protect, offering a steady rhythm of companionship that Simba could learn to rely on. Every morning, Max and Luna would greet Simba with soft whines and playful nudges, encouraging him to join in their routines. Their gentle demeanor contrasted with their strength and intelligence, creating a balance that Simba found both intriguing and reassuring. Feeding time was the first step in their daily ritual. Max would lead Simba to the feeding spot near the back porch, where bowls of fresh meat and water waited. At first, Simba hesitated, eyeing the food but too wary to eat. Luna stayed close, softly encouraging him, her tail wagging in slow, comforting motions. With a small, tentative bite, Simba tasted nourishment, not just for his body but for his soul. As days passed, the ritual became familiar and comforting. Simba's appetite grew, and with it, his energy and spirit. Max and Luna were always near, sitting quietly as he ate, sharing in the peaceful moments that began to weave a tapestry of trust. But care was more than feeding. It was in the way Max showed Simba how to navigate this new environment, how to play and explore safely. Max, with his keen senses and steady confidence, would initiate gentle games of chase, darting through the garden and inviting Simba to follow. Luna, ever the playful spirit, introduced Simba to the joy of discovery, finding hidden spots beneath bushes or splashing playfully in the small garden pond. At first, Simba's movements were hesitant, unsure of his strength and balance on unfamiliar ground. But under the watchful eyes of Max and Luna, he began to move with more confidence. His roars softened into playful growls, and the tension in his body slowly unwound. One afternoon, as sunlight filtered through the canopy above, casting dappled shadows on the grass. Simba tentatively approached Luna. She lowered herself to his level, her eyes gentle and encouraging. With a soft woof, she nudged a ball toward him, inviting him to engage. Simba's paw hesitated, then batted the ball clumsily, sending it rolling across the lawn. Luna barked excitedly and chased after it, returning it to Simba's side. The game sparked a lightness in Simba's eyes, a glimpse of the joy that had been buried beneath fear. Max joined in, and together, the trio played until the sun dipped low, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink. Evenings brought quiet moments of reflection. Max and Luna would settle beside Simba, their bodies close, providing warmth and comfort. Simba would lean against them, his trust deepening with every heartbeat. The garden, once a place of uncertainty, had transformed into a sanctuary of healing. As days turned into weeks, Simba's bond with Max and Luna grew stronger. He learned to recognize their signals, to respond to their calls, and to rely on their protection. Max and Luna, in turn, adapted their care to Simba's needs, always attentive and compassionate. Through patience and love, the walls around Simba's heart began to crumble, replaced by a growing sense of belonging. The fear that once dominated his eyes gave way to curiosity and playfulness. And in this new chapter of his life, Simba discovered that family could be found in the most unexpected places, in the loyalty of two devoted dogs. Beneath the open sky of a welcoming garden, the sky darkened ominously as heavy clouds gathered above the garden, blotting out the sunlight and casting long, restless shadows across the grass. A sharp gust of wind swept through the trees, bending branches and stirring leaves into a frenzied dance. The first distant rumble of thunder rolled through the air, signaling the approach of a fierce storm. Max and Luna sensed the change instantly. Their ears perked up, and their bodies tensed in alert. They knew storms meant danger and uncertainty, not just for themselves but for Simba, the young lion cub who had become their charge and companion. Simba, however, did not understand the approaching tempest. The sudden flashes of lightning and the booming crashes of thunder filled him with terror. His golden eyes widened with panic as the wind howled around him. Instinct took over, and he bolted from the safety of the garden, his small paws pounding into the wet earth as he fled toward the dark forest that bordered their home. Max barked sharply, a call to action, while Luna's howl rose through the thickening storm, a desperate beacon meant to guide Simba back. The garden that had been a sanctuary moments before was now a wild, dangerous maze in the face of nature's fury. Without hesitation, Max and Luna plunged after Simba, their paws slipping on the slick grass but their determination unwavering. The rain began in earnest, cold and relentless, soaking through their fur and turning the earth beneath into a muddy challenge. Yet they pressed on, their noses and ears focused on tracking the frightened cub. Simba, disoriented by the storm, had run deeper into the woods, seeking shelter beneath dense thickets and fallen branches. But the fear that drove him only heightened his confusion, and soon he found himself lost, shivering and vulnerable amid the towering trees. Max and Luna's voices echoed through the storm. A steady, reassuring presence in the chaos. They called out for Simba. Alternating barks and howls, their sound weaving through the wind and rain. It was a song of loyalty. A promise that they would not abandon him, no matter how fierce the tempest. As the storm raged, the bond between the three grew stronger. Max and Luna's relentless search was fueled not just by duty but by deep affection. Each call was a lifeline thrown across the storm's fury. Each step a testament to their unbreakable commitment. Simba's ears twitched at the distant sounds of his friends. Despite the fear clawing at his heart, he strained to listen, to find the familiar voices amid the storm's roar. With a trembling breath, he rose and began to follow the sounds. Guided by the unwavering devotion of Max and Luna. After what felt like an eternity, the cub emerged from the shadows of the forest. Dripping and weary but alive. Max and Luna rushed forward. Their bodies pressed close to Simba's, offering warmth and comfort against the biting rain. Safe once more, the three huddled together beneath a large oak tree, sheltering from the worst of the storm. Their breaths mingled in the cold air. A quiet celebration of survival and friendship. As the rain softened and the first light of dawn pierced the gray clouds, Max, Luna, and Simba began the journey back home. The storm had tested them, but it had also forged a bond that no tempest could break. In the days that followed, their friendship deepened, rooted in trust and strengthened by the trials they had faced together. Max and Luna remained steadfast protectors, and Simba grew into a confident young lion, forever grateful for the loyalty and love of his canine companions. Together, they faced the world, not as different species, but as a family united by courage, compassion, and an unyielding bond that would endure through any storm. Several months had passed since the stormy night when Max and Luna had saved Simba from the dark forest. The seasons shifted, and with them, Simba grew, both in size and spirit. No longer the fragile, frightened cub he once was. Simba had transformed into a strong, agile young lion. His tawny coat gleamed in the sunlight, muscles rippling beneath as he moved with grace and power. The garden that had once been his refuge had become a vast playground, its boundaries blending seamlessly into the dense forest beyond. Together, Max, Luna, and Simba explored every corner of this shared world, discovering hidden streams, thick groves of ancient trees, and sun-drenched clearings filled with the songs of birds. Despite the natural instincts swelling within Simba, the fierce independence and pride of a lion, he remained deeply connected to his two canine companions. The trio moved with a harmony born of countless shared experiences, a friendship that transcended the differences of their species. One warm afternoon, as the sun filtered softly through the leaves, the three lounged near the edge of the garden. Max lay with his head resting on his paws, his eyes bright and alert. Luna, ever playful, chased butterflies with a joyful bark, while Simba padded silently nearby, his gaze thoughtful as he watched his friends. Simba's powerful frame was a marvel to behold. He could sprint faster than either dog and leap with astonishing agility. Yet, in moments like these, he showed a gentleness that belied his strength, a softness reserved for Max and Luna alone. As the day stretched on, the friends rose and set off together into the forest. Their footsteps were light, moving carefully through the underbrush as they ventured farther than ever before. Max and Luna's noses twitched, detecting scents carried on the breeze, while Simba's ears caught the faintest rustle of wildlife nearby. The forest was alive with possibility and danger alike. It was a place where instincts ruled, and every shadow held a secret. Yet together, the trio faced it with confidence. Max and Luna's loyalty and keen senses complemented Simba's raw power and majestic presence. Each protected the other, their bond a shield against the uncertainties of the wild. During their wanderings, Simba's natural hunting instincts began to emerge more fully. He stalked silently through the grass, muscles coiled and ready to pounce. Max and Luna watched with a mix of admiration and cautious respect, understanding that Simba's growth meant change, and that their roles as guardians were evolving. But no matter how strong Simba became, he never lost the trust and affection he shared with his friends. When the forest's shadows grew long, and the calls of night creatures filled the air, Simba would return to their side, seeking the comfort and safety that only Max and Luna could provide. One evening, as twilight painted the sky in hues of purple and gold, the three sat atop a hill overlooking their domain. Simba's deep rumble of contentment mingled with Luna's soft panting and Max's quiet sigh. In that moment, they were not just friends but a family, a testament to the power of love and loyalty across the boundaries of nature. Their journey was far from over. The world beyond the garden and forest held challenges and wonders yet to be discovered. But as the stars began to twinkle overhead, Simba, Max, and Luna knew they would face whatever came together, stronger, wiser, and forever united. The sun hung low in the sky, its golden rays stretching lazily across the vast, open field where the grass swayed gently in the evening breeze. It was a perfect moment of stillness, a quiet pause in the rhythm of the natural world. Max, Luna, and Simba sat side by side atop a small hill, their silhouettes outlined by the warm glow of the setting sun. The air was filled with the soft rustling of leaves and the distant songs of birds settling in for the night. The sky, painted in shades of orange, pink, and purple, seemed to cradle the trio in a peaceful embrace. Here, at the edge of the world they had come to call home. The three friends reflected on the incredible journey that had brought him together. Simba stretched his powerful limbs, the muscles beneath his tawny fur rippling gracefully. His golden eyes shone with a depth of understanding that belied his youthful age. Beside him, Max and Luna, steadfast and loyal, shared a quiet look, their bond as unbreakable as the land beneath their paws. This place, this moment, was more than just a sunset. It was a testament to something far greater, the harmony that could exist between different creatures. A unity forged not by sameness but by love, trust, and mutual respect. Max broke the silence first, his deep bark soft and reflective. We've come so far since that first day. Haven't we? Who would have thought a lion cub and 2 dogs could become such a family? Luna nodded, her eyes sparkling with warmth. It's more than just friendship. It's a connection that goes beyond species, beyond instincts. We've learned from each other how to care, how to protect, how to be brave. Simba's low rumble of agreement vibrated through the air. I was scared when I first met you both. Lost and alone, but you showed me kindness when I thought there was none left. You taught me what family really means. Their story was one of contrasts and contradictions. A lion, king of the wild, and 2 dogs, guardians of home and hearth. Yet, in their differences, they found strength. Where one had power, another had loyalty. Where one had speed, another had wisdom. Together, they formed a whole greater than the sum of its parts. As the sun dipped lower, casting long shadows that stretched like fingers across the field, the friends shared memories of fear and hope, of challenges faced and victories won. They spoke of the storm that had tested their courage, of the quiet days spent healing and learning, and of the countless moments where trust had bridged the gap between the wild and the tame. Max's gaze drifted toward the horizon, where the first stars began to twinkle. The world can be a harsh place, full of dangers and differences that sometimes divide us. But we've shown that love and loyalty can cross those boundaries. Luna wagged her tail thoughtfully. It's not about what makes us different, but what binds us together. Our shared experiences, our choices to care for one another, that's what matters. Simba leaned his head against Max's side, a gesture of deep affection and gratitude. I carry your lessons with me every day. About patience, about courage, about the power of standing together. In the fading light, the 3 friends sat in comfortable silence, feeling the profound truth of their journey settle in their hearts. They had learned that harmony was not the absence of difference, but the embrace of it. That true friendship meant accepting and celebrating what made each of them unique. As darkness gently wrapped around the field, Max, Luna, and Simba rose together, ready to face the coming night. They moved as one, a symbol of unity and hope. Their steps light and sure. Their story, one of unexpected friendship, shared strength, and unwavering loyalty, would continue to inspire all who heard it. It was a reminder that no matter how different we may seem, the bonds of love and friendship can bridge any divide. And so, beneath the vast, star-filled sky, the lion and his 2 faithful dogs walked forward, not just as companions, but as a family, a shining example of harmony in a world that often forgets the simple power of connection.
Thank you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please comment 1. And if you didn't, just hit like. See you in the next videos.